Hey everyone, Chris here. We are on the boat and we have something that's broken. Well, hopefully just clogged. But normally when our holding tank is full of all the lovely stuff that goes down the toilet, this light turns on. And the last 2 times it's filled up, that light has not turned on. And one of the things that we like about this light is it usually turns on about 2 to 4 days before we actually are critically in need of having a pump out. So having it not turn on rather, means that we discover that the tank is full when we absolutely need to have a pump out. So the gentlemen from the marina have just visited in their pump out boat and have pumped us out. So we're as empty as we're gonna get. And I need to go under the seat and deal with this, which I'm not looking forward to. Kitten, I got good news and I got bad news. The good news is you have to move. The bad news is it's gonna stink in here. And the worst news is it's gonna stink for a while. All right, so here is the tank of yuck. And you might have noticed that this one has some wires coming out of it. So we're gonna unscrew these, pull this up, and pray that it's just knocks some stuff off and spray it with a cleaner. So I'm not looking forward to doing this, but what do we got? We've got some spray, so let's see what we got. All right, all done and tested, and I'll show you what happened, but we'll use a pen instead of actually showing you the nasty bits. And in honor of getting our hands dirty, we're gonna use a fountain pen, which also gets your hands dirty, but a lot more pleasant. So, first thing we did was, and I have washed my hands. First thing we did was we undid those 4 screws that were on the top. So here we go. On the tank, there was the centerpiece where there were 2 wires coming out, and then there were 4 screws. They were real little screws. And so we did those. I was nervous about the seal underneath. I was thinking, what if they used Flex Seal or something like that? But they did not. It was a rubber gasket. Thank heavens for the reusable rubber gasket. Pulled that off, and we ended up being able to pull that out. It was a little difficult to pull out because, well, here, I'll show you. All right, so we pulled the thing out, and it had, this should be off. So it was the flat top. It had a little pole that went down, and then it had, this thing kind of looked like a pumice stone. It was floaty, and it would move up and down. Not very much, but just enough. So this whole thing was, I was thinking it would be, I don't know, like toilet paper or poop or something like that. Or the crystals that form when urine and salt water get together. But no, it was mostly hair. There was a little bit of buildup on this rod, so I cleaned off as much as I could. And then at the bottom of it was one of those rings that goes around it. So I popped that off. So I pulled this thing right off, and I scraped the rod that goes down there that this thing floats up and down. And then I tried to clean out the inside of this as much as I could, because it was like, it was just like a pumice tube thing, and it had a hole in the middle. So did as much cleaning as I could. This thing on the bottom that sits on there is made of plastic, and I did not want to go to the hardware store to buy a new one. So I was very lucky that I didn't break it. But definitely need the plastic one, because this would rust completely and fall off if you didn't. That would have been very bad. So a plastic ring on the bottom, and then this thing needed cleaned. And then the other thing I discovered was when I put it back together, I looked up at the wall, and when I pushed this up, nothing happened. And then I flipped this the other way, and I pushed it up, and then the red light came on. So this apparently has a top and a bottom. So definitely want to do that. And then the little thing to stop it from falling in the tank clipped on the bottom again. And then I screwed it back on the tank. Actually, before I screwed it back on the tank, we decided to spray the whole area and clean it with the Clorox foaming bathroom cleaner, and it's a bleach foamer. It's pretty cool. I like to use it every once in a while. But I sprayed the spot where the gasket goes down. I sprayed the gasket, cleaned those good, and then screwed it back down, and then I started to spray the whole top, and I noticed a little white smoke because we were seriously over, like we had pressurized this tank before because the light didn't turn on, and the vent hose had apparently clogged also. That has also been fixed, but that's not a big deal. Anyway, so yeah, then I noticed that the ammonia from the tank, where it had leaked a little bit out the top, was mixing with the bleach, and you could see like white smoke forming, and I'm like, I know what that is. That's why I usually use vinegar for this process. Anyway, so everything's put back together, everything's good. The children are less dramatic now, and I am going to just drink a whole bunch of tea and be glad that it now works. So that thing worked flawlessly for about 4 years, and then like the last few months it's been like you had to like bang on it every once in a while, and like it would turn, the light would turn on, and then like you'd pump out, and then the light would still be on, so you'd bang the top and it would apparently fall back down where it's supposed to be, and then it would so like 4.5 years before needing to mess with it. Yeah, the glamorous yachting life, there's always something that needs done, often involving poop, and so I waited for a good day when we could have all the windows open. Anyway, hope everyone is having a good day where you don't have to mess with the poop system, and I will chat with you later. Bye.